Hello, YouTube fans. My name is Michael, and my Indian name is Bentwig. Yes, Bentwig. Why I got to be Bentwig? No, I don't know, but it's Bentwig. Anyways, I'm making this video today to share with the world what I found on an Indian mound. Now, I found this 7 years ago, and I hung on to it for a couple years. And then a brother of mine, I won't give you his last name, his first name is Donald, and he held on to it for me for 5 years. Within the first 2 years that I kept it in my possession, I took it to a specialist in Dexter, Missouri. The specialist viewed it under a microscope and compared it with other gold that was found in America. And she has studied gold for over 40 years. And when she looked at this type of gold under a microscope, she says she's never seen any gold like it before in her life. So she wasn't able to determine what type of gold that it is, or even where it could have came from. Now, a lot of people can't believe that I found gold on these Indian mounds here in southeast Missouri, because from what I understand, it's a very, very rare find. But I did, in fact, find gold, and I'll show it to you. Now, when I first found this, to me, it resembled the sun, and that's what I thought. I said, man, that looks a lot like the sun, you know? And so, I'll just shut up and let y'all look at that for a second. But anyways, it looks like it could be very old. One person told me that he believes that it could be anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 years old, which that cannot be proven at this time. Well, when I got this back, I decided to go ahead and put it on YouTube and share it with everybody, because I would like to know more about this piece, and that's why I'm posting it. I will leave my number in the description. So if anybody can tell me anything about this, then I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And so I've always wondered, where did it come from? How did it get here? Where did the gold come from? Obviously, it's not any kind of gold that you can find here in the U.S. So that tells me that it had to come from overseas somewhere. So I wanted to know more. And here just recently, I took a couple pictures and made a brief description of it and where I found it, and sent it to an antique company who studies Indian artifacts. They're out of California. I won't give you their name, but they said give them 48 hours, and then they would respond to me of what they think it is. Now you can see where it's bent, because like I said, I found it on Indian Mound, which here the farmers farm all the land. So it got ran over by tractors, plows, discs, hippers, whatever. It's not broke anywhere. It's bent. And I thought about trying to straighten it, but I'm just not going to do that. I don't want to take a chance on messing it up. So I'm going to just leave it like it is. And when I found it like this. So I took it home and I polished it up, and it started shining again, and it's very, very beautiful. I looked at this under the microscope, and while we was comparing it with other golds, and it is one of the most beautiful types of gold that I've ever viewed under a microscope. And people doesn't believe that I found gold on these Indian mounds here in southeast Missouri, but I did. There it is. You're looking at it. So it's a very unique find. It's probably something that a lot of people don't find often around here. And as far as I know, I'm the only one that's ever found gold here on these mounds in southeast Missouri. The appraisal company in California sent me this. This was their intake on it. Now, I never told them that I thought that it looks like the sun. You know, I never said anything about that. But this is what they sent me. They said, unlike Mexico and South America, there is no evidence that the tribes of the U.S. developed techniques for refining, smelting, alloying gold, and other metals. However, they did work raw copper, which needed no refinement. It certainly could have been brought or made by early visits from people who originated from outside the U.S. It appears to be made by pouring molten gold into a cast, possibly wood. It may possibly have been intended to represent the sun. Well, that's kind of what I was thinking too. There are various researchers who claim very early pre-Columbian European contact in America. Likely the best thing to do is to see if you can locate the site where it was found and see if the landowner would welcome student or professional excavation teams to conduct a serious excavation of the site. Usually the landowner gets a percentage of the pie. An excavation might indicate which peoples were involved at these mounds, and if there are other examples that seem to have been brought in from elsewhere. It might lead to identification. The more that is known about the pendant, the greater the value would be beyond its gold content value. Well, that's all that they sent me. And so that tells me that seeing how it is a rare gold that the woman could not identify, she's never seen anything like it before, did not originate here. It could have possibly been brought by early visitors, people from outside the U.S. And so I would like to know where this gold could have came from. Is it Aztec gold? I don't know, but I would sure love to know. If there's anybody out there that knows anything about this piece and where it possibly could have came from, if you've seen it anywhere, online, in a book, I would sure love to know about it. I do know that we had sun worshippers in this area at one time. They vanished without a trace. Nobody knows what happens to them at all. But anyways, there it is. I did find it out here in southeast Missouri. And I could sell it one day. I don't know. I don't know if I ever will. But if you ever look at this under a microscope, man, it's very, very beautiful. It's got such a glow to it. And it cleaned up so nicely. I didn't have to put no effort into cleaning it up and making it look like this. It didn't look like this when I first found it. But it cleaned up very nicely. I was very impressed. I've had it for so long that now I'm showing it with everybody, and I'd like to know more about it. How old is it? Where did it come from? What type of gold is it? We had the Cherokees here in this part of the world. My great-grandmother was full-blood Cherokee, and she would tell my mother stories about when the white man came in and made them march the Trail of Tears. So I lost a lot of family members on my great-grandmother's side on the Trail of Tears, and she remembers being on the Trail of Tears when she was a little girl. So she saw a lot of her family members die on that journey. This land belonged to the Indians. White man came in and said, "You got to go," and made my ancestors leave and let them starve to death, and even killed a few, murdered my family on the Trail of Tears. So I had permission to hunt on that mound when I found that. Now they've closed it down. They've posted it. No one's allowed to hunt there ever again. And there's been a lot of good pieces to come off of that mound. But as far as I know, I am the only one to ever find any gold like that. One person told me that I really might have something there. But you got to prove the origin of it. You got to prove what type of gold it is, where it came from, who brought it here. You got to prove all that. And right now, I can't prove that. The only thing I can prove is that it is 100% pure gold. And the lady said she ain't never seen anything like it. So that's all I know, other than what the appraisal company in California sent me. I mean, this is all I know. So if anybody knows anything at all about that, then I'd appreciate hearing from you. I mean, I pictured it in my mind that the white man came over here on a boat. He was wearing it. He had it around his neck. He was wearing it very proudly, if I can hold on to it. He was wearing it very proudly. And, could have been up here. And the Indian might have said, me like. Me want, you give. The white man could have said, no, no, I can't do that. I'm going to hang on to this. And they'd be like, you, me, smoke peace pipe, talk trade. White man's like, yeah, I smoked a peace pipe. No, I can do that. And so they might have been smoking that peace pipe, He might have been hitting that thing, And that, white man might not have been used to smoking to what the Indians be smoking, So old Chief could have smoked him some, give it to the white man, and Chief like, now you go to spirit world. White man be like, yeah, I think I'm going to spirit world. He could have felt that, man. He ain't used to smoking that stuff, He wasn't used to smoking what them Indians smoke. Sometimes if they go to smoke, man, they go to the spirit world. They go looking for that white horse. And sometimes, they go to smoking that peace pipe. Yeah, it wasn't a peace pipe. They smoke that stuff, they go on a warpath. So white man could have died. He could have just fell dead right there. Wasn't used to smoking that stuff. Then that chief said, now me take. Okay, that could have been how the Indians got that. Or they could have just traded it fairly, and you might have smoked the peace pipe. They're going to smoke that pipe, right? If I was lit up like that, I would probably smoke the peace pipe with them. I don't smoke it anymore. I quit. I don't smoke nothing anymore. But I used to smoke peace pipe. I didn't ever go to the spirit world, but I smoked a lot of peace pipe though. But I don't do that no more. I don't smoke nothing no more. But anyway, if anybody knows anything about this, I will leave a number in the description. So just check out the description and hit me up if you know anything pertaining to this pendant. Now, I used to call it a medallion, but I found out through them that it is not a medallion, it is a pendant. And I said it looked like it was a representation of the sun, and that's what they said it was. So, I'm more inclined to believe that. So I'm learning a little bit more about it, but I want to know more, and what it's worth. Is it worth anything? Some people might say, no, it ain't worth nothing. Other people might say, well, if you've got one of a kind, if it's the only one in existence today, well, it could be worth something. So if it is, I would like to find that out too. But if you have any information about this, please feel free to contact me. But don't contact me about no crazy stuff because I ain't into that. I don't want nothing to do with no crazy stuff now. Just contact me if you know anything about this piece right here at all. Other than that, enjoy and have a wonderful